Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. I am Hamza Idris. It is around 6 weeks to the presidential election, and according to the timetable released by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, political party campaigns will continue until a day before the February 25th presidential elections, giving political parties well over 4 months to tell Nigerians what they intend to do should they be given an opportunity to serve. The 2023 elections is also more interesting as it will be ushering in a new administration following the expiration of the President Muhammadu Buhari-led administration after serving its constitutional 2 terms in office. Will the incumbency power be enough to achieve a transition to another APC administration? What are the chances of opposition parties who are gunning for the nation's top job to make their own impact? These are some of the questions on the lips of Nigerians as the election day draws closer. And in the studio tonight, we are joined by the national chairman of the New Nigeria People's Party, NNPP, Professor Rufai Alkali, as we discuss the chances of the opposition to oust the ruling party in 2023, among many other issues. Welcome to the program, Prof.
Hello, good evening.
And compliment of the season?
Hamza, thank you.
It is still the New Year celebration.
We thank God for His grace.
Thank you very much.
Many people did not see this year.
Yeah.
So we are lucky to be part of the new,
the
new year and going to celebrate it.
Thank you very much. We will go on a short break, and when we return, the conversation commences. Don't go away.
Barely 6 weeks to presidential election in Nigeria. The candidate of the NNPP is racing against time to set up the necessary machinery that will drive his campaign across 774 local government areas in the 36 states of the Federation in what promises to be a highly competitive race to the presidency.
Our political movement, both the TNM, Concosia, and the NNPP levels, is driven by committed and dedicated volunteers who invest their resources, time, and energy, bearing in mind that Nigeria's economy is in tatters and the income levels are shrinking and the purchasing power is weakening by the hour.
The New Nigeria People's Party is also not losing sight to the fact that it has to raise the necessary funds that would help in prosecuting the presidential campaign in view of scarce resources at its disposal.
We made it a duty that the few convoy that we have, we visit the people. By that, we were able to assess and see the ecstasy of young men and women who show interest, who show love for this great party.
We don't play money politics, but we need a whole lot of money for logistics and to ensure that we succeed fully by the help of God.
That this is time for us to lead, for you to lead Nigeria, because the course is clear and our victory is certain, inshallah.
A 1,053-member campaign council comprising of 6 components, chaired by the presidential candidate Rabiu Kwankwaso, is expected to take the challenging task of mobilizing Nigerians to vote for the party as it kicks off zonal rallies on the 12th of this month. The party says its message is a new and better Nigeria is possible.
Yes, Prof, welcome
Thank you
to the program. Just a few days ago, you inaugurated the Presidential Campaign Council, and at the time you did yours, some political parties, I think, are even rounding up their campaigns. Why the delay? What happened?
Well, thank you very much. I'm very pleased again to be here with you, Hamza.
Yeah.
And you see the reality that when the INEC gave the deadline for the commencement of election, campaign rather, and the conclusion they gave 28th of September to actually 23rd or 24th of February before the presidential election. In between, they never gave any specific guideline on what political parties must do or should do.
Okay.
Therefore, every political party is at liberty to come up with its own strategy of reaching Nigerians. Some of the political parties went the older ways because that's the way they know. They don't know anything new, they don't know anything different. Most of them, almost before the deadline, they started running around.
Yeah,
you know,
ahead of the declaration.
Some of us feel like it's like desperation for power because some of it was not planned very well.
But are you people not also desperate for power?
No, we are not. We are not. We would have done our own differently.
Okay.
So in our own way, we felt that, and I didn't mention it last time I was here, I believe, that before the season of campaign commences, it's only fair for party leadership, especially our presidential candidate, to reach out to Nigerians on one-on-one. Go to the states, go to local governments, go to villages, go to communities, you know, re-establish contact, build a bond of friendship and relationships. And through the process, also understand the nature of the problems Nigerians have. So, for example, when you have to use the road to travel from point to point, it is to understand the nature of the roads that we have even in the country. So, by the time you go and sit down with them and listen to them, you understand their own concerns, their fears, their interests. Now, we thought that is the first phase of our campaign, which went off very effectively. And I want to report to you, as yesterday, when we formally launched the campaign council, our leader and a team of our leaders also went around this country, virtually all the 36 states of the Federation, maybe except 1 or 2. And they cover virtually most of the local government except a few. Now, this one we face is a very important phase because now we have established a relationship with Nigerians in a very clear and robust way. And by the time now you start the formality of the campaign, you know, already wherever you go, you are not a new person anymore because they have known you, they have seen you, they have heard you, and you have heard them. And it's very important because if you want to hit the ground running after becoming the president of the country, you don't have to sit down and begin to say, what is happening in this place, what do they need? Because already you have spoken to them, they have spoken to you. So I think it was very effective, very unprecedented in the history of Nigeria.
And it's not late, the launching.
The issue of late is, the word late comes only if, for example, there was a deadline for anything. There was no deadline.
So are you on the same page with the National Campaign Secretary of your party, Fola Shide Aliyu, who described the inauguration of the party's presidential campaign as mere formality because everyone knows the letters have been given out? Maybe is it because of the people? Because people have been complaining that, okay, Labour Party, they launched theirs, PDP.
No, but you see, we are competing with ourselves. We are not competing with anybody.
Okay.
Remember, even when we came to do our manifesto, the blueprint, many people were saying, NNPP are quiet, NNPP was silent. But by the time we came with a big bang, everybody was quiet. Even then, there were other leaders campaigning for Nigerian presidents. They did not have the blueprint at that time. That's only after we finished, they suddenly realized that they have something to do. Then they woke up and they started, well, I don't want to say with all sense of responsibility, cloning some of the works we have done. Now, repeatedly, some of the things we have said we are going to do, we hear people saying they are going to do it again. Because, like I told you, just like this thing we have done, in the case of launching our campaign committee, we took our time. We tried to reach out to people, not to bring everybody that will not be useful to us, but people who
but why do you always want to be different, coming with certain things? For instance, what you call Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso 2023 Presidential Campaign Council, that is RMK 2023. You people said it is made up of 4 organs, including the Presidential Campaign Council, the management of the Presidential Campaign Council, the board of advisors, and the committee of the PCC. Why all this? Instead of just calling
these are normal, because every organization has to be structured for effectiveness. Because if you don't leave it, it just free for all, open-ended, people don't know their responsibilities. And then in the end, you find that a few people will be doing more work, while others will not know what work to do. But when you clearly define these responsibilities, everybody, yesterday after we learned the PCC, we did not leave, Senator Rabi Musa Konkoso did not leave the venue. He sat there, make sure that all the committees sat down, know each other, discuss with each other, establish relationship, know their work, know their assignment before they left.
So it wasn't mere ceremonial thing?
No, because the issue, like I said, that we are very serious people. We don't do it the way other people are doing it. Because for us, every time, every minute is important for Nigerians. We don't want to do things that will look as if we are not thoughtful of the condition Nigerians are living in.
Yeah.
So that's why everybody that's brought there is brought to a committee that will be useful, where he has his own strength, his own knowledge, his own background. And so far it's been very good. Since we finished the launching, I've received many calls. I say, how did you come about with this? We say, well, this is our own way. Not their own way, our own way.
You have a think tank of sorts who actually sit to come up with some of these ideas.
There must be always strategic planning for everything in politics.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, we have 18 presidential candidates. And with all sense of responsibility, we invite presidential candidates here without prejudice to any. But, as the clock, moves on, people are narrowing to 4 candidates. They call Tinubu, they call Atiku, they call Obi, and they call Konkoso. But among these 4, people are saying your candidate is the least popular. I'm not saying it. It's just going by some of the narratives out there. How do you respond to this?
But I'm hearing for the first time from you.
Sure, Prof?
Yes.
Prof?
Yes, because it's your choice of words. I can't deny you. Because how do people arrive at PDP is ahead, or APC is ahead, or another party is ahead, and the ADP? What is the categorization? What is the basis for
Okay, this is the latest report that we got. They call it Nationwide Popularity Poll. It puts Atiku in clear lead. And with 42%, Tinubu 30%, Peter Obi 21%, and Konkoso 7%. And they said the polls, was based on responses from over 1 million respondents, randomly selected from 217,000 polling stations across the length and breadth of Nigeria.
Sir, although I'm a political scientist, I also did political economy.
Okay.
I'm not afraid of numbers.
You're not afraid of numbers?
Yes. What I'm saying here is that anybody can sit down and do polls and come up with results. Remember, the first poll that was announced in this country was even before INEC gave the parties green light to start campaigning. Even before presidential candidates started going out throughout the country. We are talking about almost 4 months ago.
Yeah.
Already before then, a group of people sat down there, and by the time we trace the people who did it, they were directly related to the candidate. They gave that, a larger mark than others. So these two, with all sense of responsibility, we don't know who they are, we don't know what they are, we don't know who commissioned them, we don't know what purpose they are serving.
Yeah.
So, but what we also know is that beyond the figures, you have to understand the minds of Nigerians. Are Nigeria prepared to continue with what is happening today in this country? Beyond these figures that you're talking about.
Well, the figures you can see, it didn't favor APC, it favored PDP.
Same difference, same difference. The issue here is that if they don't favor the ruling party, if they favor the PDP, are not people leaving PDP every day and coming to NNPP every day?
Wow.
People are coming to us every day. So what is happening? Somebody can sit down and choreograph some figures and use the advantage of the media, splash it to the system, confuse
That is why we always bring people like you to actually interrogate some of this. Because I think the one you were referring to was the NOI poll, which wasn't actually the first or the second. I think it was, look at it here, ANA Foundations, headed by Atedo Peter side. You know, they have conducted this almost 2 times, and NOI is actually a credible poll research.
Why do you call it credible?
They have done it even in the US.
So what is the impact of those polls? Does it, when did you go to the polling unit that you're talking about, the average Nigerian, does he know the meaning of polls?
But sometimes you know, they sway opinion, like
it does
in
now
climes.
because it's elitist. I'm not dismissing it,
okay.
But if it's done scientifically, you know, objectively, we will not arrive at this kind of results.
So you're questioning maybe the integrity of the polls?
Look, everything is questionable in political environment because you have to understand where people started coming from, where they came out, who funded it, who is behind it.
Yeah.
Why is it brought about this time? Why not later before the elections? Look, people take their time. When they lose this advantage here, they go for another level thinking that it gives them better opinion. The reality is that I told you the last time I came here, Nigeria is happy with what is happening in this country today. I told you, I posed questions. I say, is it not a reality that Nigeria is in deep trouble? It's not me saying it. It's Nigerians that are saying it. Are we happy with our economy?
But there are some who,
Hamza,
yes.
The way the last time we spoke with you, we agreed to talk.
Yeah.
You are the examiner. I tried to answer my questions.
Okay.
So, unless you give my attention, I will not be able to.
Exactly.
So what I'm saying that I posed some question. I said, is it not true that Nigeria is going deep economic crisis? And is Nigeria not going through deep security crisis? Is Nigeria not despondent? Are Nigeria not unhappy with what is happening? Are Nigeria not feeling that they are losing hope in democracy? Are they not losing hope in their own country? I said they are also losing hope in themselves. I said all these people are saying that they don't even want to vote because they are just tired. So now we are now bringing the same thing that people are tired of, and we say they are choosing between A and B, and it's not A and B. They are the same thing. They are the same side of the same coin. It's
you are
the same
saying
coin.
APC and
It's two sides of the same coin. Yes, that's the truth, unfortunately.
But some of you are all products of APC.
Yes,
PDP.
but we also told you that in trust house here today.
Yeah.
You know the capacity of every person working in this place, from the junior staff to the senior staff. You are not colons. Everybody has his own identity. We have our own identity. Even when we are in PDP or APC, whatever, we have our identity. We knew the reason why we went into politics. We also know why we joined those political parties at that time, and we also know why we left them. And I have told you here in this house that 2 years ago, if we have not sat down and looked at Nigeria as it was drifting at that time, and come up with the decision that we must come up with something new, something fresh. Honestly, today, we have been stuck with only the two old dinosaurs. And we are saying that no.
You call them dinosaurs.
Well, I think something that has passed is best before date. You know, of course they have money, or well, they have name. But if parties today that were built by the people like Adamu Chiroma, of blessed memory, of Sunday Awani, or of Abubakar Rimi, of Solomon La, people who, and even Sulalamido here today is alive. He is now is PDP, but it's not the PDP that is here today. It's not the same PDP. He participated and, you know, sacrificed his life to build.
But he remained in the party.
Yes, yes, he did. But I'm too sure when you ask him in his own conscience, he knows that this is not his party that he knows. So what you say that the founding fathers of the party have most of them have gone. The remaining that are there, they've also been marginalized. Yeah, they're marginalized. So how on earth you have a party that you have a faction within the party today that are daring people, daring the party, do something against me if you care, if you dare, you know? So somebody who cannot manage his party and want to manage Nigeria up today. I mean,
Obasanjo recently, you know, turned down Atiku, turned down Tinubu, and went for Peter Obi, even though he was actually a product of People's Democratic Party. Is it a sign of frustration from his
The point I wanted to make is that all these polls that you're talking about, you have to ask a relevant question to have the relevant answer.
Yeah.
When you don't ask the relevant question, you don't answer the relevant answer.
Well, the relevant question is that NOI and the other one, they throw the figures.
What I'm saying, sir, is that, look, Nigerians are wise. We are not fools, you know. The important point to know is that we must know where we were before and where we are and where we are headed. And the reality is that where we are is not where we are supposed to be as Nigeria. That is the reality of the matter. There are states today, you cannot go, as me and you here, take a vehicle and drive this hour that we are talking about on the way to Zamfara, on the way to Sokoto.
Yes, then how did your candidate went there? Because I actually read his speech about 3 times. He said he has gone to almost 30. I think, remember, only 5 states.
No, not 34.
34, right?
Yes.
By road?
Yes.
How? How did he manage, or how did you people manage?
He's taking risk. He's taking risk. He's taking risk because he believes that...
Because the question I wanted to ask is, if there is no security, how can you traverse all this?
What I'm saying that, yes, because he doesn't want to say in the comfort of his home, to begin to say he's going to solve a problem that he does not know about. By going through... There are so many stories, so many instances, but...
That you encounter?
No, I didn't say. What I'm saying that there are so many issues that you face as you are traveling around this country. So therefore, it gives him more knowledge, understanding the country. It's much better than somebody who will fly with a helicopter and move over them and go and just talk for a minute and walk away. No. What we are saying here is that there are issues, and our leaders must understand that these issues are very serious. The ordinary citizen you are talking about who is looking for food to eat, a truck pusher, a cobbler, an artisan, who is going to approach him with question of whether this Nigeria should vote this party or not party? Who will even approach them? This is an elitist argument, just to legitimize a process. You know, it's a process of legitimation.
But you know, they said the Hitler way, you know, if propaganda, if you repeat it, it becomes true.
So you want me to legitimize the propaganda?
No, not you. But maybe to enlighten Nigerians that they shouldn't believe in propaganda.
No. So what I'm saying, ask the ordinary citizen in the country, that he will tell you that, and you have to pose the questions. Sir, do you know the market today? What did you buy yesterday? How did you buy it? How much did you pay? What of last week? What of last year? What of last 2 years? What of last 5 years? He will tell you the story is different. That, okay, you want to vote for the same person? The answer will tell you no. But if you don't give him that background, you just ask him, nothing. So please, let's go beyond this kind of, what we call empiricism, and what you call the fetishism of the empiricism,
Okay, it's political science, right?
Yes, it is, because you think that figures alone, they explain matters. They do not. They give an idea, but the real situation is on the ground. And it cannot be explained by this element, because it is how you pose questions. When you do surveys, how you pose questions, how you select your sample, how you administer the questions, how you collect the results. It has so many human influences, But
yes, and Prof, when I read this speech and listened, the candidate said you people went to over 300 local government areas. Now, I remember in 2003, President Buhari also went around Nigeria, by road. 2007, he repeated the same feat. 2011, the same feat. It was only in 2015 when he actually traversed the country using aircraft that he finally got it. What is actually the motivation? And will it make any difference just going by road? Because people are still complaining. The roads are not safe, the roads are not good and all that. But Buhari also passed through them, which should have given me a fairer understanding. But it was when he used the aircraft. So when are you using the aircraft also too?
Using aircraft is also part of the campaign. Using it doesn't mean that it's wrong. What you are saying is that you ask us why we launched our campaign council at this hour. We said we did not wait for anybody, because assuming that we are also in the aircraft running around, people will also have not our movement, because now people took us for granted that we are not doing anything. and they were sleeping while we were reaching out to Nigerians. By the time they woke up, we had already gone far.
Yes, the question I asked is, Buhari also did the same, but it didn't really add anything to it.
I do believe this interview is not about Buhari, it's about the future of our country.
Yeah.
I want us to concentrate on that. That is the future of our country.
Yeah.
And the future of our country now, on 25th of February this year, Buhari will not be on the ballot. Therefore, this is not about him now. It's about the future of
But
Nigeria.
about maybe his legacy. He has started moving. He was in Adamawa a few days ago, Yobe and all.
Well, I think the APC will be able to explain that angle. That one also I don't know.
Will it affect your chances in those places?
Well, the good thing about it is that today, every presidential candidate has the opportunity to reach to Nigerians. And I have mentioned that phase one, we have done that through this road campaign, and we are satisfied with what we have done. And we are now going to the next level, not the level that we have had before, which ended up is no level at all. Yeah. So now we are going to the next phase of our engagement with Nigerians, and we are also going to do it vigorously. We are going to reach to our people, we convey our messages, and we are going to, everybody is important in Nigeria, and we will listen to them and they will listen to us so that we understand their fears, their concerns, their interests, what can be done, what should be done, what must be done. So the point is that we are not competing with any one of them. They have done their own. If you have gone around the country by road or by air, but after listening to their problem and you fail to solve those problems, that is also his own. Our own, we do hope God will touch our lives and hearts. God will touch the heart of our presidential candidate. When he gets the opportunity, he will do it the way he has promised Nigerians.
Yeah, and there was this crowdfunding also that went side by side with the Presidential Campaign Council. What actually inspired you to do that?
You know, there is somebody recently who said that the presidency of Nigeria in 2023 is for the highest, for the man with the largest amount of money.
Yeah, Ape Babalola.
That man, I have great respect for him. He's a learned man, he's a lawyer, he is also an educationist who has established one of the most successful universities in the country. But I know with all sense of responsibility, the presidency for Nigeria in 2023 is not for the highest bidder, and it's not for sale. Because yes, people distribute money. We have seen it all over the place. But now people are asking themselves, what has been the consequence of, selling their franchise to people on pittance? Not even pittance, or whatever the amount of money given, whatever the amount. Because by the time you surrender your franchise, your right to vote, then that's the end of it. And I think we said no to that. But it's also legitimate for every political leader to reach out to the most ordinary citizen in the country to make a small contribution. And that small contribution is not the money, but it is the heart. The fact that he feels that he can give you 10 naira or 100 naira, he feels that money, you're worth it. And that you are the kind of person he can invest in you. It's not the amount, it's the spirit. And also, for any leader who has gone through this process, then he will also not abandon those people who have contributed. Because I know the next question you ask is that it has happened before and it did not work.
Because you say Buhari, but we are beginning to see maybe history repeating itself.
But I've also asked you, this interview is not about comparison.
Well, sometimes we compare from, because as a political scientist, for Nigerians to actually understand.
But in the process, we end up personalizing it.
We will not do that.
That's what I don't want. I don't want to personalize it. Everybody has his own
style.
So
will it make any difference from what happened?
It does, because, when people own a project, they will pray for you. They will argue for you. They will defend you. They will think of you in their dreams. So you also have an obligation now as a leader, that when you have that chance, having seen what has happened in the past and it did not work, you will not follow the same path. And that's why we have not followed the same path of all the political parties. Everything is our own is different. Because what you expect us to come from the south, we come out from the north. You expect from the north, we come out from the south. You expect from the east, you come from we come differently because
extremely unpredictable.
Yes, because the issue here is that
is it an act of war?
When you try to solve the same problem the same way all the time, expecting different results, of course the answer is no. Therefore, Nigerians you want leaders they can trust. Nigerians that they can, you know, feel that they belong to them. Like, for example, when Senator Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso went to Gombe, it was in the middle of the night we spoke. He said, tomorrow I'm going to your local government. I said, sir, we are not ready. He said, no, whether you're ready or not, we have to see our people. Because I was at in Abuja here. And I was surprised that he could think of going to my local government. The local government to be precise. And the following morning, he went. He opened the local government secretariat. After he left, people started calling me. I said, do you know what happened? I said, what is it? He said, for the first time since the era of Shagari, no presidential candidate has ever came to our local government.
Since Shagari?
Shagari, yeah. That's what
for 40 years. Oh my God.
If you like, you can say, if 79, it's 43.
Yes.
Yeah, 79 is 43 now. So since that time, no presidential candidate.
And Duku is one of the oldest local government areas.
He's the oldest because it's 76 created.
You see?
So that not a president. We are talking president may have gone, but a presidential candidate to go and. So if now our presidential candidate has gone to 300 to 400 to more local governments, how many more local governments who have never seen a presidential candidate? He went not to campaign at that time, but to see the people. At that time, he went to see the people, he bond with the people, open an office, and then move. Others are already there because there is what we call desperation for power.
You said it earlier.
Yes. That immediately the INEC say, start on 2028, then on 28 already we are ready, we must capture power. But capturing power for what? People have captured power, and they have not used the power effectively for the benefit of Nigerians.
What captured my attention again, because I'm actually dissecting some of the things he said, was to actually strengthen traditional institutions. He believes that unless we strengthen the traditional institutions, we'll never get it right. He's talking on the heels of the removal of Wazir Mbauchi recently. And in Kogi, something is about to happen because the Ohinoye has been queried. So how different will your government be in terms of strengthening traditional institutions? Because it's like they are at the mercy of local government chairmen.
Well, I think there is a very good question. I think you must, Hamza, agree that the traditional institutions were the one which you run the country, or the various communities that constitute the country today, long before colonial rule, and then during colonial rule, and then with all the intervention of the colonial administrators, subsequently by the civilians, by the military, the traditional institutions have changed and have been changing. The attempt by anybody now to become neutral, it seems also as an offense.
Yeah.
For a traditional to say he's neutral is an offense. So sometimes, willy-nilly, he becomes
victim of circumstances.
Victim of circumstance. So that is one. Secondly, there are the people who know the ordinary citizen on the ground. Of course, now we have local government chairmen, we have councillors, we have chairmen of parties and whatever, SAPA. But these are the oldest tradition that people see are much closer to. And they are the people who also, people have sometimes some sort of confidence rather than going to politicians to report certain events, or even security matters, to go to traditional rulers and report. So, but there's something I wrote in one of my books that, you know, authority without power makes somebody redundant.
Oh, God.
Yes. If you give somebody authority, but you don't have the power to implement that authority, he is an empty cast.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. So you find traditional rulers, they are highly respected. They are venerated at the cultural level.
Yes.
But at the political level, gradually their powers are being eroded. So, and because the political system that we have, unfortunately, is that willing to use every weapon to achieve objectives. So the victims are those people who want to stay neutral. Now, what our leader is trying to do is to say, look, we must protect that system. Okay. While we are modernizing it, well, because everything is through modernization, but it must be protected and supported. That is why one of the new ideas is coming up with after election, the community participation and reorientation program.
Yes, yes.
It's unique to NNPP. I say it's based on experience in Kano, where, for example, any money that goes to local government disappears.
Yeah.
So local government themselves, now they are complaining they've been emasculated by the state governments. Now the normal, usual, small thing that local government can do, you know, either
even sanitation.
Well, okay, you see, repairing schools, giving medicament for dispensaries, you know, repairing a broken bridge, everything.
I mean, also
Forestry protection, you know, livestock, nothing. They are there at the mercy of those in charge. So now he is coming with an idea that from the ward level, there will be a committee of at least 11 people, including the traditional most senior person in that village or that ward. Then the imam or the clergy, the most senior person in that ward.
So you're part of that committee?
Yes. Then the person who has been contributing to that community, who is not hungry, looking for money, a philanthropist. Then a woman of substance who will also stand in that community.
Gender balancing.
Gender balancing. Then a youth leader.
Wow, carrying the youths along.
You know, then the party chairman of that ward. Then the party chairman of the biggest political party in that ward. So it's not just...
Even if it is not NNPP?
No. You know? And then, of course, those people with special disabilities. So by the time you have that group of 11 people, they are saying that he will, through the National Assembly, come up with the relevant laws, and that periodically send money direct to these teams, which will be considered at the ward level, at the local government level, at the state level, at the national level. Now, these are the people who are going to oversee the implementation of these projects. And that when they are asked to go, let's say, to repair some broken down either classrooms, they are the one to do it because they will own it up.
And they will be held to account.
Of course, they will be held to account. Then, if they want to buy medicine for their dispensaries, so be it. If they want to do some culverts, so be it. If they want to deal with security matter, so be it. Now the joke in it is that how can an imam be the treasurer of that committee and then chop that money and then stand and say he is leading the congregation?
Very, very unlikely.
It's unlikely. Or the clergyman who will stand as a pastor to preach, and then he will be given as a secretary or the treasurer of the committee, and then he chop the money. Where will he go? So the issue here is that people must be held accountable. So if you now take it at the ward level, at the local government level, at the state level, then it will be virtually most senior emirs, senior chiefs, district. Everybody will involve one form.
You are giving them power. Thank you very much, Prof, for this. It's like a new approach to actually going back to empowering the local government areas. We will take a short break, and when we return, the program continues. Don't go away.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Inherited a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Already, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. We have Professor Rufai Alkali, the national chairman of NNPP, in the studio. Before we went on break, very interesting, talking about a new approach to empowering people at the local government and governance.
But good governance and accountability.
The takeaway there is actually the legislation.
Yes.
Maybe I think if we get it right, it will be
it should be done.
Fine.
It must be done.
All. But your political party appears to be a sort of welfareist of sorts because some of the things you ask. For instance, the 500,000 classrooms. How are you going to get the money to do this?
Well, I think this point has been mentioned, and sometimes it's even very funny people are raising these questions.
Yeah.
The issue of money is a very fact of life. No nation has ever gotten sufficient money, all the money it needs all the time to run its affairs. But it's a question of management, proper management, effective management, and accountability, and question of prioritization.
Okay.
Yes. So somebody may have money, but instead of building hospital, he will go and build a stadium.
Misplacement.
Well, maybe as far as concerned, stadium was better than building a hospital, equipping it with the best of equipment and medicaments. So in this case, what we are talking about is that some of the agencies responsible, you know, in the case of primary and secondary school, especially primary schools, they are jointly owned by the federal, state, and local governments. They are run. Now, so every part of these arms of government have responsibility. And there are agencies at the local government, at the state level, at the national level, responsible for coordinating the activities of these schools. Even in secondary schools, apart from the unity schools also, you know, if a state government also have their own secondary schools. So the idea here is that some of the emphasis that is being placed, the money that is being spent on other areas in the school system, the first phase, they are very important. Books are important. You know, basic equipment in the schools are important. But no matter the first thing, either there must be classrooms.
Yeah.
So if we are able to take much of this money first to build the classrooms, then at least in a community, when they see a classroom, they will know that something is going to come.
Yeah.
You know? Then, and the classroom, not the kind of classroom that you build today, and by the rainy season,
blown up, yeah.
it is blown up. So that's why we say that first the classrooms, then the state government, local government can control about the issue of books and other facilities. It doesn't mean that federal government is going to spend only at a classroom, but any other issue.
Yes, I can see because even NECO, JAM, and all that, the candidate says it's going to be free.
One thing we must also understand is that there's a lot of work that has to be done because the insecurity that we have been facing in the country over the past 10 years or there, the people are losing faith in the school system itself.
Yes.
Even private schools have been exposed to dangers. So you also have to take security element into even building the office, the classrooms.
Yeah.
It's additional cost, okay? And then you also have to do a lot of, reorientation for people to be convinced that yes, this thing that we are doing, we are safe, our children are safe.
They will go to school.
Yeah, they will go to school. So there is a lot of work to be done. It's not just building schools, important are there, but creating the necessary environment.
Yes, creating the, and this brings me to this question. You know, INEC just recently said that election might not likely hold because of insecurity. Do you share their fears, INEC?
Well, thank you very much.
Even though the Minister of Information countered saying
no,
that.
Anyway, thank you very much. First and foremost, let me tell you that INEC are very serious people. The way I know them now, the way they're operating, they don't talk anyhow. But there are, in my own opinion, there are nothing less than 4 reasons why INEC should be worried and me and you should be worried. First, let me state the point that no matter what happens, 29th of May 2023 is a sacrosanct date, sacrosanct.
Wow. There must be transition.
There must be transition. A new government must come in place.
This is clear.
Secondly, you cannot have the swearing of a president and governors on 29th unless there are elections.
Yes.
So therefore, election must hold. Now, this election also, for them, for this election to be held, and for the results to be acceptable, accepted and to be acceptable, they must be seen to be free, fair, and transparent, and without violence. So it means for INEC to come up to now and say this, everybody must listen. I have 4 reasons why I should be worried, and I say why.
Maybe in 1 minute because we have run out of time.
No, very important.
Yes, okay, in 1 minute.
No, can't make you 1 minute. Give me another minute.
Is the time, okay.
First and foremost, only about 2 months ago, some European countries and the US came and said that there are security challenges in this country and started withdrawing their personnel. Up to now, we don't know what are those security challenges. We don't know yet, but they are important. Secondly, only recently, again, the CBN from nowhere came up with the change of currency. Normally, changing of Nigerian currency is an important matter. It's okay, it's fine, maybe within the law, but they should have done either 1 year before these elections or at least 1 year after the elections.
So I understand the things are not really adding up.
No, wait a minute, sir.
The time, Prof.
This is not is a wrong choice of timing.
Yes.
It has raised the tension in the country.
To do some of this.
To do some of this. Yes.
So what is your call in 30 seconds?
The third point is the frequent destruction of INEC property and the killing of their staff and the destruction of opposition political parties' facilities.
Which is very bad, yeah.
You know, even last 3 days in Borno, they went and destroyed the billboards of our senatorial candidate for no reason. So we are saying that people are threatening that you cannot go to my state to campaign. So when the big man says this, the small boy will also take arms.
Very sad.
So I think the federal government has to take this very seriously.
All right.
Must understand these fears.
Thank you very much, Prof. I think you have made the points that these 4 key issues you raise, they are issues that we have to bring you back to discuss them elaborately. We thank you for coming to
Thank you very much, Hamza.
Yes, because that's the wrap up today's edition of the program, which we hope you enjoyed. If you do, join us for another interesting edition of the program. For now, bye-bye. I'm Hamza Idris.